Hello, my fellow individuals! I am Mr. Many Mask Man here, and today we're going to talk about the review for Season 6, Episode 2 of Game of Thrones. Now, obviously, within the title of the movie, this is all spoilers. I'm going to be explaining about the episode step by step, how I felt about it before and after. So, if you have not seen the episode yet, please do not watch this video until you do. Now, before I break the episode down, how I felt about this one, all I can say is yes. And yes. Man. So, okay, this is a very good start now for this season. Like I said, the last episode, the first episode, the premiere of Season 6, it was a decent episode, I said. It was okay. It was kind of just showing what happened, where it left off from the season finale. It only showed just some minor things here and there, and so forth. So it was just kind of like, okay, it's alright. This one though, now everything's about to start kicking, because I don't know where to begin. And I know for y'all who have seen this episode, you know where I'm going with this around the end of the episode, which we all wanted to see for so long now, and I am glad it has been resolved. It has been answered. So I like this episode a lot. It actually gave a resolution. It gave answers to what we're looking for from the last week's episode. So, and there's something going on. This is now the bigger setup. Now the motions is going to start the motion of the season. Now, oh man, okay, where to begin? Alright, let me recall everything in my head. So, it started out with Bran Stark, which we haven't seen from the last episode. So now we see, okay, what's Bran Stark up to? For what I'm seeing is kind of similar, but not really, to Arya's training, but it's not for being an assassin. It's about learning about warging, or using the visions of seeing the past, or possibly the future, with the Three-Eyed Raven training him. Now, what's interesting in this one is that we actually see a flashback way back when Ned Stark was a kid, and Benjen Stark, and most importantly, Lyanna Stark. I think showing Lyanna Stark is going to, I don't know, it's becoming pretty close to that theory. You know what we're talking about. R plus L equals J. Maybe. There's an importance. I know there's an importance there. And I know there's people say that in this episode, this season, could be an episode where it's going to cover the Tower of Joy, which is apparently a very important episode where we want to see the truth, the whole Jon Snow truth, about who his real parents were, basically. So Lyanna Stark was there in that flashback, so that she's going to play a huge role now in this. There's got to be a reason. And of course, good old Willis. And if you don't know who Willis is, it's the guy that always says Hodor, or what we call Hodor. Hodor actually spoke in the flashback. That freaking made my day. Holy hell. Hodor actually spoke. He used to speak. So, that's another mystery I want to know. Why did he repeat his name? Maybe he made an oath where he will never speak again and only say Hodor. Hodor. That Hodor dialogue that we just left from Hodor. But that, I really was so happy. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna like this episode once I saw that moment. So yeah, so then that's kind of what we got there. So Bran Stark is kind of looking at the past, seeing some events, maybe for fix some issues between history not repeating itself, of the bad things, or unveil the truths of what's leading to the future of Westeros. So far is what I'm seeing with Bran there, in that case. So far, Bran has something to do, something very important. Let's see, I believe the next thing what happened now was, now I remember his name from the last episode, I know, Alliser Thorne and the group at the Night Watch came by the door where Jon Snow was, where his body, and Sir Davos and all the few friends of Jon Snow was there, protecting his corpse from Alliser Thorne and all those guys, what they were going to do with it. And they were going to crash in, and Sir Davos was about to fight, man. So he says, I don't know how to fight, but forgive me for what you're about to see. And he pulls out his sword, And he's like, let's get this rolling, you know? Let's get this rolling. Now, I was like, okay, I never seen really Sir Davos in combat, so I was actually saying, let's see how this goes. Hopefully not dead, but we will see. Until remember Ed, he went back, he actually brought the wildlings now. And the wildlings were there. The Night's were so intimidated, especially when the giant just blew that door with his fist, if I recall. Or just broke the door down. There's a guy with the crossbow, hit him in the shoulder, he just freaking grabbed the guy and boom, just slammed him in the wall. And the Night's Watch just shit their pants and they surrendered. And so now that group of the Night's Watch, the majority of them, and God, I really hate Ollie. I still do. I understand why, you know what, why he did it. I kind of get that, but I don't know, man. Ollie's, Ollie, nah, no Ollie, no. But yeah, you know, Ollie tried to kill one of the wildlings anyway. So he just really hates wildlings. But I don't know what Ollie's fate will be. Hopefully not a good one, to be honest. But anyways, so instead of I thought they were gonna kill them or, you know, behead them, you know, typical thing of treason for killing a Lord Commander or your higher superior. Actually, they just put him in a jail cell, basically. Just put them all somewhere, you know, to keep them locked. So, I was hoping that they actually get killed, to be honest. But I know why it wasn't really smart to kill all the Night's Watch. Because if they had killed all the Night's Watch, and even out Sir Alistair Thorne, there wouldn't be that much Night's Watch left to defend the wall from the White Walkers and the Whites. So, I kind of get it why they haven't killed them off, for the majority of them, because they need them. Even though I guess the wildlings are kind of taking over that position now, I assume, from the Night's Watch now. So maybe the wildlings are the new Night's Watch. So it's gonna be interesting. So hey, sorry. Anyways, now what I see from here, so that I mean they came back to show Jon Snow's respect. They wanted to burn his body. You know, just like, you know, typical thing what they have to do before White Walkers bring them back, or as a show respect of proper funeral and death up in the north. So, yeah, so that happened. Trying to recall. Okay, next thing that happened, which I thought was pretty interesting. Okay, remember the guy that flashed Cersei, you know, at the last season finale? You know, that guy just, you know, he started making cracks and all that about, you know what I'm talking about if you've seen it. So, and then all of a sudden, Sir Roberts, as he was taking a piss, Sir Robert Strong just freaking grabs. I think I can't remember. I think he just pushed his head up against the wall so hard that the back of his skull just did that, and he just died in an instant like that. I was like, holy hell, you know, the mountain was already intimidating in the first place. But with Sir Robert Strong, I get an even more intimidation because of that pure silence, no face, just all helmet, only eyes, only dead eyes, the same eyes over and over. So I am very intimidated with this new mountain, or Sir Robert Strong in this case. He's a really scary dude, man. So yeah, he shows his brutal strength that even the guards or whatever that Cersei was going to attend Myrcella's funeral, they told him, hey, your son, the King Tommen Baratheon, just told you have to stay in the keep right now. He doesn't want you out there because he's for your safety and protection. And Cersei was kind of, infuriated, but I don't know, you can just tell how she felt. And even the guards were intimidated. Sir Robert Strong was just kind of there, getting ready to start shit down. So, but yeah, I mean, so yeah, then you see Tommen Baratheon and Jaime Lannister are there. Tommen feels kind of guilty that he couldn't do anything. He couldn't help Marjorie, his wife, Marjorie Tyrell. He couldn't help his mom from those things happening. He feels guilty. He doesn't feel worthy of seeing his mom for a while. He just doesn't want to see her because he feels shameful and embarrassed. But Jaime, advised him just to speak to her, that she'll feel better about it if he asks for forgiveness. So he leaves, and then we see the High Sparrow come down. And Jaime's basically threatening him. that's just basically that whole dialogue between him and the High Sparrow was a threat. And you kind of see the Sparrow's true intentions. I mean, we kind of knew what they were gonna go, but now like the real deep core of what they want to do is take down what they say, you know, with all of us, we may not have nothing, but with all of us together, we can take down an empire. Then they want to burn Westeros, and I assume burn Westeros to the ground in their way, or just completely, you know, no kings, none of that, only, you know, the religion of the 7 gods, and all that. So I assume that's his goal, what he's trying to do, slowly rule up. I guess in a way you can think of it as also wanting to claim the Iron Throne, but not really. Just in his own mannerism, just kind of that similar, same goal. Now, so there's definitely gonna be now conflict. Well, there already was, but now it's gonna, I believe it's gonna go down now, between the High Sparrows and the Lannisters, and possibly Tyrells. Because, you know, after that, Tommen starts talking to his mom, Cersei. She forgave him and all that, because, you know, that's her last son left. She loves her children. That's one of Cersei's only good trait about her, is her love for her children. Now, he advises her to help him become stronger as a person. He's almost kind of like, say, I should have killed him, I should have executed those guys before any of that happened. So it's almost like, not really, but almost like if he wants to go to that Joffrey route. But he just wants to be more, and demonstrate power. Now, what I'm afraid is that Cersei obviously will tell him what to do. She'll get her revenge, I would say, against the Sparrows, using Tommen, her son, to do those actions for him, because he's the king. But what I am afraid is that I think in return, Tommen will something's going to happen to Tommen. I don't know, man. I got the feeling that something's going to happen to him this season. I really don't, because Tommen is a really good guy. He's really naive in the world of Westeros and Game of Thrones. He's just kind of there being used, and it's just kind of it sucks, man. He's a pretty good guy, but you know, he's getting manipulated a lot, and manipulation will cost him. But most importantly, it will cost Cersei, as that is the last one in the prophecy that the witch told him about her 3 kids dying. So I really don't want Tommen to die. I really don't. But I don't know. I got a bad feeling about his character this season. So yeah, so that happened. Now the next thing, well, the fun thing with back in Meereen, with Tyrion, Varys, Missandei, and Grey Worm, we're all discussing that. He says, "Hey, you know, I got to get back in shape to kind of show that we have this power." If I'm trying to recall the dialogue, he says, "Why don't we get the dragons? You know, where are they? He said, we need them." But they just say they really don't have control. They're afraid of them. They're downstairs chained, as we recall what Daenerys did to those dragons. Evie, stop. Anyways, so they do that, and Tyrion's like saying, "Here, I'll go down there. And they need to be fed, man. Dragons need to be free. They need to eat. They need to grow strong to conquer what you want." So he actually Tyrion Tyrion is one brave dude, man. He just goes there on his own. Varys, you know, keeping watch on top, but he's willing to go down there. The dragons don't recognize him, if I recall, not those two. And he's so confident that nothing will happen to him. I would not have done that. If you see 2 dragons in the dark by yourself, thinking if you have control, even if they're chained, I would not have done that. But Tyrion, somehow, what I thought was interesting in here, he was so calm for the most part. And he actually almost, like, in a way, the dragons trusted him. They didn't do anything. They didn't show that much aggression. You know, after he released the chain of the first one, then the second one actually wanted, stuck his neck out there to release the second chain. And the dragons didn't do anything, which I thought was kind of weird. But there's also that minor theory, again, about Tyrion Lannister being the third Targaryen. I don't know. Maybe he is, maybe he's not. But that scene is sort of like that theory just slowly went up like this after that scene. Because it's like nothing happened to him. He didn't struggle or any of that. They listened to him. He's like, not even Daenerys could really do that, to be honest. And Tyrion just, like a boss, just did what he had to do. So I'm kind of curious on, there's something going on there too. At least in my mind. But yeah, so then, he goes up to Varys and it's like, "Hey, Next time if I say something like that, just punch me in the face, you know? So that made me laugh. I'm trying to recall the next thing that happened, I believe, was Arya now. Basically, all you have to know about Arya, she's still training, you know, being blind, using with the staff with the other girl from the House of Black and White. And Jaqen H'ghar, he shows up and he basically, you know, is testing her again. It's like, what's your name? He just keeps saying, I'm no one. He's like, even if I do this, even if I do that, even, and most important, he says, if I give your eyes back. And she still, you know, wouldn't tell him, says, I'm no one. And then he says, good. And he says, follow me. And basically, I believe is the next stage of the test, you know, which he's gonna do. So I think by this season, I think Arya this season, she'll probably learn so many things. She'll probably be maybe not already like the best assassin out there, but way up there for sure. She'll hone those skills, and maybe next season she'll actually try to go out there and try to finish off the people on her list. Maybe. But what I'm getting the vibe in this, either the majority of the season or all this season, is just her training, getting better experience in fighting, etc., using the many faces properly, and being a better assassin. That's my impression on that. So that's basically what happened in Little Arya's part. It's not really that big. Now the next thing, the Boltons. I believe that was the next part. The Boltons. Okay. So the guy, I think the one guy that escaped after Brienne attacked and killed all those other Boltons, the guy with the hounds, I think. I was wondering where the hell the hounds went from that episode, but anyways, he tells them where they went, or I think where they're going, and Roose Bolton kind of strategizing what he needs to do there, while Ramsay just says, let's just go out there, let's go to the Night's Watch, let's kill Jon Snow, and you know, and then we kill the rest of them and get Sansa back, and so forth. While Roose Bolton says that's absolutely a very terrible idea. You're gonna make so many enemies, you know, on that. It's like they call you maybe the Mad Dog, or I guess that's what they call him, the Rabbit Dog or something. That's like a nickname or something for him. And he says, and you'll be treated like that as the title tells you. So Ramsay didn't like that idea, and then you know, Roose Bolton's his new wife gave birth to a little boy. And obviously, Ramsay, you can tell that he was just not pleased with that. Roose Bolton goes up to him, and you know, Ramsay just says, you know, I'm happy for you, Dad. And then Roose Bolton, you know, he says something meaningful, I guess, to him, like saying, hey, I will never forget that you are my firstborn. Ramsay, you kind of see a touching moment, and then boom, just like that, Ramsay just stabs Roose Bolton, and Roose Bolton is dead. Now, I believe that moment right there is what's going to cost Ramsay Ramsay Bolton in this case. It's going to cost him. I think this will be the end of Ramsay. He made the biggest mistake by doing that, because Ramsay, yes, he's psychotic and shit, but he's not a good strategist. He's so overconfident that he knows what he's doing. He's just pure aggressive. He kills. He just goes straight for the kill. But he doesn't really think. He thinks he knows it all, but not really. He hasn't been there long enough to know strategy, know what he's doing, know about political stuff, about the kingdoms in the north or the Westeros, nothing. So he takes control now of the Bolton family now. He's the new Lord Bolton, and he's going to do now what he wants to do, his original plan. And then later he gets his dad's, Roose Bolton's wife, and the baby to where all the other hounds are. He locked them up there, and he actually released the hounds. It was a pretty brutal death. You can hear like all the crunching and munching, the dogs eating both her and the baby. And it didn't show, at least, just like the Sansa thing with last season. But I mean, it was still pretty brutal, man. I was like, you know, but I mean, it's Game of Thrones, and on top of that, Ramsay. So you kind of expected that. Once you saw that part where she goes by herself with the baby, you're like, I don't know, Ramsay got something. But yeah, so, you know, Ramsay doing all that crazy stuff, all that crazy shit. Yeah, stay away from Ramsay, we all know that. So now Ramsay is gonna go for the kill. He's gonna go to the Night's Watch. Now, I think, okay, now that I'm thinking about it, I think this is gonna happen now. Him and Ramsay and the Bolton family, we're gonna go where the Night's Watch are, at Castle Black. And the Wildlings, I think it's going to be a fight between the Wildlings and the Boltons, I think. So far, if nothing has changed. And maybe some of the Night's Watch, I guess, that are locked up with Sir Alistair Thorne, maybe. But I think it's going to be, you know, the Wildlings. I don't know if Sansa and Brienne and Podrick are going to arrive there before that happens or during that part where it happens. I'm not sure. But yeah, I know something's going to go down now. I think that's going to be another big fight this season. So, you know, the Boltons and the Wildlings. I think it's going to be a huge one. It might be the episode 8 or 9 of this season. We may never know. Now, after that, it goes to Sansa, where she basically, you know, Brienne tells her that Arya's still alive. So now Sansa knows she's still alive somewhere. And Theon basically tells Sansa he can't go with her anymore in this journey. He is afraid. He can't forgive himself for all the things that he's done. He says he is in a way almost like I can't be forgiven. No matter how forgiving you are, or even if Jon Snow ever forgives me. He says, I can't. I was willing to die for you and take you there to Castle Black, but now that I got Brienne and Podrick, I feel safe that you're safe. So he says, I'm gonna go home, which is in the Iron Islands of the Greyjoy family. Even though his dad, Balon Greyjoy, completely disowned him, like for good, he's still thinking of going back. And then this is where it gets the interesting part, the second interesting part for me of this episode. We go to the Greyjoys, Balon Greyjoy, and I guess in the show they call it Yara Greyjoy, not Ashra, but Yara Greyjoy discussing the plans that have failed. They basically, almost like the Iron Islands are done. It's just, we're nothing now. We lost a lot of people. We lost all of our parts of our territory. We basically lost everything. This is all that's left. And Balon's just kind of pissed. He doesn't know what to do. He gets frustrated. She wants to take in control, but he says no. You're not going to be under control. I don't think so. No. From what I'm remembering. And then you see Balon Greyjoy exit. It's really windy, raining outside, a storm on this really, you know, the wooden bridge with the ropes kind of swinging like this, you know. He's trying to cross, and then you see a mysterious figure. And he tells him, Balon Greyjoy tells him to move, and he doesn't move until he identify himself as his brother. And then we get the new character involved that people were waiting for as well. We get Euron Greyjoy, if I'm pronouncing that right. He makes an entrance on the show now and basically threatened that he should take over now. Balon, he says, older brother, you're done. He says, you're done ruling, I should take in control now. And Balon basically says, never, not once I'm still alive. And then they got close, and then Balon Greyjoy was about to stab him before Euron Greyjoy throws him off the bridge, and it's that long-ass fall to the water and rocks. And that's actually, this is going to be an important part in the end when I'm going to explain. That is the last of the 3 names or the 3 of the 5 kings of the 3 of the kings that Melisandre promised Stannis that would die after the whole leech thing of Gendry Baratheon. So the 3rd one came true now. Balon is dead. It shows Balon, they got his corpse, they put him in the sea, you know, typical funeral thing for the Greyjoys. And then Yara's basically saying, I should take control now. And then one of the officials there says, no, then that's not how it works. You know, it says, we'll leave that to, I'm sorry, I forgot exactly what he said, but basically he says, you don't make that decision. Not even your father Balon makes that decision. It is to the gods, I think it's up to the gods or something like that. There's a specific law, like a Greyjoy law, Ironborn law, about who rules next after this incident happens. Which I think now where Euron Greyjoy is going to step in, and he's going to play that big part. And I haven't read the books, but I know a little information. I read those informations online, so I may not be 100% accurate, but I know Euron Greyjoy is going to take over, and he's going to cause a lot of things. I think it's almost like in a way the next, you know, this is Ramsay's time. Ramsay's time is about to finish, I believe. So I think Euron Greyjoy is going to be the next villain, major villain. Everybody's technically a bad guy in the show, almost. Everybody has a bit of evilness within them, but as a big major threat, I think Euron Greyjoy might be the next one. So keep an eye out for this guy. I heard very bad things that he does, or at least from what I read, and how he basically just pillages places and all that stuff. He's almost like, in a way, you can think of him as a pirate, sort of, with the eye patch. But yeah, so the Greyjoy thing is going to kick in. So the whole Greyjoy storyline from the last book, I believe, is starting. I honestly hope that they don't screw that up like the Dorne storyline. I really don't. Because the Greyjoy thing, from what I read, is actually pretty interesting agenda, what they're trying to do. And it involves Daenerys and the dragons. So, that's all I'm going to say, obviously, if you haven't read the book or information, but it's going to play a big role, I think. So I'm hoping that, like, again, they don't screw this up, they keep it as it is. No changes. Okay, and then most importantly, now the very end. Sir Davos talks to Melisandre to say, hey, basically says, can you do this, can you revive people from the dead? She says she's seen it, she witnessed it from the guys from the Bannermen, I think, but she says she doesn't know how to do it. She doesn't believe in her faith anymore of the God of Light, as she said, like I told in the last episode. She started, all of her prophecies or her fates or visions wasn't coming true. She was wrong, that she basically lost faith at all. Until Sir Davos, even if he says, I'm not a faithful man, but I can tell you that I've seen what you do. So that's, none of that is bull. I know it's true. So he really pushes her to try to revive Jon Snow. Now we get to the scene where she tries, everything, cleans the blood in the wounds, tries to revive him by speaking of Valyrian, and, nothing happens where, you see, the people in the room, they slowly just kind of look at each other, they leave. One at a time they leave, Sir Davos leaves. And then I know it was Sir Davos or Melisandre was the last one to leave. All quiet, you just see ghosts sleeping, Jon Snow's corpse. I honestly thought it was gonna end like that, like nothing happens, or maybe. But it actually, what we all hope for, at long last, Jon Snow is back in the game. Yes, you heard me right. Jon Snow is back. Or what people say, Jon Targaryen. That's okay, back to that Targaryen theory about the whole 3 Targaryens. So people say it's the resurrection of Jon Targaryen, or some people say it's the new Azor Ahai, or is this Jon Snow coming back? But he is alive and he is back. He took that last gasp of air. He's right after Ghost wakes up. He comes back, and now, yes, what we wanted to see, and it finally happened. So I am happy. Goddamn, I am happy. I am so satisfied with that result. I am so happy that they did this early in the season. They didn't stall enough to almost at the end or in the middle, where we just keep guessing and guessing, kind of get distracted by wondering, okay, is Jon Snow dead or is he alive? Is he dead or alive? Boom, they gave us the answer, what we wanted. They delivered, and I say good job on them for that. So, bravo. So now Jon Snow's back, and God, I am so satisfied with, and that's the conclusion of that episode. Whew, that episode, man, I'm glad a lot of things, it's a big thing that's going on. There's resolutions that we wanted answered, some questions that we wanted answered are answered. And you kind of see now the real setup of what's going to happen through the rest of this season. So, overall, what I felt in this episode, I liked it. It was really good. It was really good for one of the early episodes of Game of Thrones. There wasn't that much action and all that, what we really want to see. But that's usually either in the middle or episode 8 or 9, almost always. The best episode of the seasons. But as for an early episode, it was good. That's the last thing how it ended is exactly what we wanted to see, and I am so happy that they did that. I really am. So, hoorah! Yes. Now, that's overall my review on this. That's how I felt about it. I thought it was nice. The theories that I think the whole R plus L plus J theory now, I think now that's slowly becoming even possible every time now. Jon Snow's back, and then the whole thing with Lyanna Stark and Bran Stark, I believe, having more of those visions of the past, is going to reveal the truth. So I believe now, the chances of that theory becoming fact is getting up there, really up there. Which means the second theory, the 3 Targaryens, the 3 heads of the dragon, which is Daenerys, and there was 2 left. And that other theory, which I assume, what most people assume is Jon Snow. In this case, they call him Jon Targaryen, as he comes back as a new form, or new name, that's what they call it. And the third, there are some theories, but most people are saying Tyrion, which I thought it was an odd choice. I thought it was kind of stretching it, to be honest, when I first heard that. But this episode, when it showed what he did with the dragons, I'm kind of like, Huh. Maybe it's not so stretched out after all. Maybe there is something there, you know, man? So, yeah, I honestly... Okay, I think the R plus L plus equals J theory. I think that's gonna... I'm really certain now that's almost fact. Is getting there. Once we see the stuff of more flashbacks of Bran in the Tower of Joy episode, I believe, or what happens in the Tower of Joy, once it gives us that answer, it's confirmed whether that theory is false or is fact. So I can't wait for that episode to answer that big, huge question that everybody was thinking since season 1 and now. The time has come for the answer this season. So yes, I mean, God, I don't know, this was good. So I can't wait now what's everything that's in store, everything that's going to unfold. Things are going to go down as always, but this one I know for sure. Things are going to happen, like good things. For us viewers, of course. But anyways, I think that's all I got to say about this. This was actually a long review than I expected. But anyways, if you like this video, you know what to do. So, I would have to say... Obviously, I'm going to do another review each episode, just give you more of my thoughts about the episode, my pre-thoughts, my afterthoughts, my theories, and all that. So if you want to keep in touch with this, again, you know what to do. I don't have to tell you guys. You guys are smart. So anyways, I'm going to call it a day, and I will see y'all next time.